Exalted Jupiter. According to Vedic Jyotish, Jupiter is said to be exalted in a horoscope when it is placed in the sign of Cancer, which in simple words means that Jupiter gains maximum strength when placed in Cancer, compared to its placement in all the other signs. An exalted Jupiter is associated with many good things by many astrologers, and it is believed by a number of Indian astrologers that an exalted Jupiter always works positively in a horoscope, and it brings good results for the native, which is not the case in actual practice, and an exalted Jupiter can work positively as well as negatively in a horoscope depending upon the other deciding factors and overall tone of the horoscope. The word exalted simply relates to the strength of Jupiter in horoscope, and it does not relate to the nature of Jupiter in most of horoscopes, and accordingly an exalted Jupiter placed in different houses of a horoscope can give benefic as well as malefic results depending upon the nature of Jupiter as well as the overall tone of the horoscope. In this article, we will discuss some of these benefic as well as malefic effects which can be experienced when an exalted Jupiter is placed in different houses of a horoscope. Exalted Jupiter in first house of horoscope. An exalted Jupiter placed in first house of a horoscope is considered very good by many astrologers, and it is believed by these astrologers that an exalted Jupiter placed in the first house of a horoscope always works positively and brings positive results for the native. However, in actual practice, an exalted Jupiter in first house of a horoscope can work positively as well as negatively, and when working negatively, it can bring some very bad results for the native. A benefic exalted Jupiter in first house of a horoscope can bless the native with very good financial prosperity, and such natives are likely to get support from their father or grandfather, and they are also likely to receive wealth and inheritance. Such an exalted Jupiter can also bless the native with very good name and fame, and as a result the native can become famous and powerful, and in some cases the natives under a particular influence of this placement of exalted Jupiter also have very good spiritual and religious interests. A positive exalted Jupiter in first house of a horoscope can also bless the native with very good professional skills, and such natives can achieve very good professional success, and such natives are particularly seen successful in business. On the other hand, a malefic Jupiter in first house of a horoscope can trouble the native with some very serious problems. Like the native may experience problems in his married life, and he may have to face bad to very bad results in his married life. A malefic exalted Jupiter in first house can also cause serious health issues to the native, and some natives under the strong influence of this malefic placement can suffer from one or more than one serious diseases which can even cause death of the native in extreme cases. This placement of negative exalted Jupiter can also trouble the native by virtue of having many enemies who keep on causing problems for the native from time to time, and in some extreme cases, such a native can suffer serious physical injuries or even death by virtue of some planned attack by his enemies. Exalted Jupiter in second house of horoscope. A benefic exalted Jupiter in second house of a horoscope can bless the native with many good things. Like this placement can make the native very wealthy, and such a native is likely to possess a good to great amount of money. The natives having prosperity and wealth due to this placement of exalted Jupiter in second house of horoscope usually do not have to work hard to gain this money and wealth, and they get this money and wealth through easy means and easy gains. A benefic exalted Jupiter in second house of a horoscope can also bless the native with a good to very good married life, and some natives under the influence of this placement get married to very rich females who bring a great amount of financial fortune to the native. The natives under the influence of this placement are also likely to have very well-behaved and good-natured wives who are capable of taking good care of the native as well as his family members. An exalted Jupiter in second house can also bless the native with very good accommodation and luxuries, and many natives under strong influence of this placement possess very good houses, cars, and other luxurious things. On the other hand, a malefic exalted Jupiter in second house of a horoscope can bring considerable to serious problems in the married life of the native, and the natives under the strong influence of This placement are likely to get the wives who are of very suspicious nature and who keep on troubling the native by virtue of their suspicious nature. This placement can also trouble the native with some health-related issues, and natives under the strong influence of this malefic placement are likely to suffer from a serious disease which can trouble them for a very long part of their lives, and some of these natives may even die due to these diseases. Exalted Jupiter in 3rd house of horoscope. A positive exalted Jupiter in 3rd house of a horoscope can bless the native with very good financial gains, and such a native is likely to earn good to great amount of money by virtue of his own hard work. A benefic exalted Jupiter in 3rd house of horoscope can also bless the native with very good warrior skills, and such a native may become a renowned warrior or war expert depending upon the overall tone of his horoscope. Some natives, under the strong benefic influence of this placement, can go to foreign countries and settle there by virtue of profession, and such natives are also likely to have good creative abilities which can help them achieve success in their lives. On the other hand, a malefic exalted Jupiter in 3rd house of a horoscope can trouble the native with many kinds of problems, and natives under the influence of this placement can suffer losses and face problems by virtue of their friends, relatives, and colleagues. The friends or colleagues of such natives are likely to cheat them at some point of their life, and such friends can even act like enemies at some stage of life, and they can trouble these natives to a great extent. Natives under the strong influence of this placement can also face financial losses by virtue of some friend borrowing money from them and then refusing to return it, undertaking a guarantee for some loan which has been availed by a friend, and then having to pay that amount as the friend does not pay the loan. The natives under the strong influence of this placement can waste a big amount of their hard-earned money towards their friends and relatives, and most of these friends and relatives do not stand by these natives when such natives are in real need of them. A negative exalted Jupiter in 3rd house of horoscope can also trouble the native with losses which come due to professional failure, and such natives may have to face big financial losses more than once in their lives. In some extreme cases, such a malefic placement can also cause the death of the native in a war or fight, and some natives under the strong and particular influence of this placement can also get murdered by some unknown persons. Exalted Jupiter in 4th house of horoscope. An exalted Jupiter in 4th house of a horoscope is again considered very good by many astrologers, and these astrologers believe that such a placement of Jupiter is always very beneficial for the native. But an exalted Jupiter in 4th house of horoscope can cause serious problems for the native when it is working malefic in a horoscope. A benefic exalted Jupiter in 4th house of a horoscope can bless the native with a luxurious life, and native under the strong influence of such a placement are likely to be born in very rich families where they enjoy luxurious lives right from their childhood. Such a placement can bless the native with a life of comforts and ease, and the natives under the influence of this placement are seen living an easy life, and they keep on getting money and other resources continuously throughout their lives. A benefic exalted Jupiter in 4th house of horoscope can also connect the native with foreign lands and such. Natives are likely to receive regular incomes from a trade established in foreign countries or some kind of import-export business. The natives under a particular influence of this placement live happily throughout their lives, and they are also likely to die an easy and peaceful death, which means that they are not likely to die from a chronic disease or any other kind of painful death. On the other hand, a negative exalted Jupiter in 4th house of a horoscope can cause serious problems in the married life of the native, and the natives under the strong influence of this placement are likely to face serious problems in their marriage, and some of these natives may have to face one or more than one divorces. Such a malefic placement is also bad for property-related affairs, and the native under this influence may have to face losses on account of some disputes or litigations related to the residential property of the native. A malefic exalted Jupiter in 4th house of horoscope can also cause some serious health concerns for the native, and the natives under some particular strong influence of this placement can become mentally unstable, and they may have to spend a long time in some mental asylum for treatment of such disorders. Exalted Jupiter in 5th house of horoscope. A positive exalted Jupiter in 5th house of a horoscope can bless the native with very good creative skills or some kind of higher education, and the natives, under the strong influence of this placement, generally shine in their lives by virtue of their creative skills or higher education. A benefic exalted Jupiter in 5th house of a horoscope can bless the native with very good financial prosperity, and such a native can get very good recognition for his works, and such a native is also capable of making new discoveries and setting new standards in his field of profession. This placement can also bless the native with very good spiritual progress, and the natives, under a particular influence of this placement, are capable of connecting to the supernatural and paranormal worlds much easier than the other people. Some natives, under the strong influence of this placement, can see great progress in spiritual fields, and they can be seen practicing as spiritual gurus, spiritual healers, astrologers, and other people dealing in similar professions, whereas some other natives under a particular influence of this placement can possess very good business skills, and as a result they can make big money from business. A benefic exalted Jupiter in 5th house of a horoscope can also bless the native with very good children, and the natives under the strong influence of this placement are likely to have very creative and spiritually advanced children. On the other hand, a negative Jupiter in 5th house of a horoscope can bring problems in the love life of the native, and as a result the native may have to experience many broken love relations which keep on giving him more and more pain, and some natives under a particular influence of this placement may not have any love life at all, and they are likely to remain single for a big part of their lives. A malefic exalted Jupiter in 5th house of a horoscope can also cause problems in the education of the native, and such a native may have to discontinue his studies by virtue of some problem. Some natives, under a particular influence of this placement, can leave their family and go to some jungle or some asylum to lead a spiritual life at one point in their lives due to professional failures and family problems. Exalted Jupiter in 6th house of horoscope. An exalted Jupiter in 6th house of a horoscope is considered bad by many astrologers, but such a placement of Jupiter can also bless the native with very good results when it is working benefic in a horoscope. A benefic exalted Jupiter in 6th house of a horoscope can bless the native with good to great professional success, and the natives under the strong influence of this placement are likely to achieve great milestones in their professional lives. This placement can also bless the native with large amounts of money and a life of luxuries and comforts, and many natives under the strong influence of this placement are seen living very luxurious and comfortable lives. A positive exalted Jupiter in 6th house of a horoscope can also bless the native with good to very good creative abilities, and some of these natives can be seen successful as professional dancers, musicians, actors, stage artists, poets, and writers, whereas some natives under a particular influence of this placement can also be seen successful in the fields like astrology, palmistry, psychic readings, and other such fields. On the other hand, a malefic exalted Jupiter placed in 6th house of a horoscope can bring serious financial problems for the native, and such a native may have to face very bad financial circumstances for a big part of his life, and some natives under the strong influence of this placement can face heavy to very heavy financial debts which they may not be able to clear throughout their lives. Such a placement can also bring serious medical concerns for the native under its influence, and such a native can suffer from one or more than one serious diseases which can make the native spend lots of money towards the treatment of these diseases, and in some extreme cases the native may even die due to one of these diseases. A malefic exalted Jupiter in 6th house can also trouble the native with court cases and litigations, and in some extreme cases of this placement, the native may even have to go to jail due to some court case or litigation. Exalted Jupiter in 7th house of horoscope. An exalted Jupiter in 7th house of a horoscope is considered very beneficial for marriage and married life of the native by a large number of astrologers, whereas in reality, this placement of exalted Jupiter can cause serious problems for the married life of the native when it is working malefic in a horoscope. A benefic exalted Jupiter in 7th house of a horoscope can bless the native with a good married life, and such a native is likely to lead an undisturbed and happy married life. This placement of exalted Jupiter can also bless the native with good to very good professional success, and the natives under the strong influence of this placement are likely to do better in jobs compared to business. A benefic exalted Jupiter in 7th house of a horoscope can also help the native in getting favors from his seniors or bosses and such. A native is likely to see good results and success in his job by virtue of these favors. On the other hand, a malefic exalted Jupiter in 7th house of a horoscope can cause serious problems in the married life of the native, and such a native may get married to someone with altogether opposite personality, and due to this fact, such a native may have to suffer great misunderstanding and problems in his married life, and particularly in the earlier years of his marriage. Such a placement of malefic exalted Jupiter in 7th house of a horoscope can also trouble the native with increased expenditures, which can trouble the native from time to time, and some natives under the strong influence of this placement may have to face very bad financial situations due to these increased expenditures. A negative exalted Jupiter in 7th house can also make the native leave his wife and family at one point of time due to serious misunderstandings and problems in married life and such. A native may choose to go to some asylum to lead the life of an ascetic. This placement can also bring social disgrace for the native in some cases, and such a native can also have some health problems. Exalted Jupiter in 8th house of horoscope. An exalted Jupiter in 8th house of a horoscope is considered very bad by many Vedic astrologers, and it is believed that such a placement always brings problems for the native. But in actual practice, an exalted Jupiter placed in the 8th house can bring very good results for the native when it is working benefic in the horoscope of the native. A positive exalted Jupiter in 8th house of a horoscope can bless the native with good knowledge and wisdom, and some natives under a particular influence of this placement are seen having deep interest in the fields of paranormal and supernatural, and some of these natives can adopt one of these fields as their professional field, and they can shine in these fields. A benefic exalted Jupiter in 8th house of a horoscope can bless the native with great status and great powers, and such a native is likely to possess a chair of power or authority by virtue of his profession or by virtue of some special knowledge possessed by him. Such a placement can also bless the native with good to great supernatural powers, and some natives under the strong influence of this placement can achieve great powers, and they can connect to other worlds in order to benefit from them. On the other hand, a malefic exalted Jupiter in 8th house of a horoscope can bring serious problems in married life of the native, and in some cases the marriage of such a native can be delayed to great extents, and such a native may be able to marry very late in his life. Such a negative placement can also affect the lifespan of the native in a malefic way, and as a result the natives under the strong influence of this placement may have a lifespan shorter than the average lifespan, and some natives under a particular influence of this placement can die an unnatural death. A malefic exalted Jupiter in 8th house of a horoscope can also cause professional delays, and this placement can also make the native addict to alcohol and drugs, and as a result, such a native may suffer from some serious disease. Exalted Jupiter in 9th house of horoscope. A positive exalted Jupiter in 9th house of a horoscope can bless the native with good to great amount of money and wealth, and some natives under the influence of this placement benefit from their parental wealth, and particularly the wealth from their father's side. Such a placement can also bless the native with good to great professional success, and such a native is likely to achieve very good financial results from his profession, and at the same time, he is also likely to have a good reputation in the society. A benefic exalted Jupiter in 9th house of a horoscope can bless the native with very good spiritual and religious interests, and some natives under strong influence of this placement can become famous and successful in one of these fields. This placement can also be very favorable for political gains in some cases, and as a result some natives under the strong influence of this placement can gain great positions of power through politics, and some natives under a particular influence of this placement can become very popular political or religious leaders who have a huge number of followers. On the other hand, a malefic, exalted Jupiter in ninth house of a horoscope can impart some bad characteristics or bad habits to the native, and the native may have to see a downfall in his life due to these bad habits. For example, some natives under a particular negative influence of this placement can become overconfident or proud by virtue of their knowledge and power, and they can commit serious mistakes by virtue of these characteristics, and due to these mistakes, they may have to face a big loss in terms of money, reputation, power, and position. The natives under influence of such a malefic placement should always keep a check on their overconfidence and ego, and they should always keep company of some wise people who can advise them when they are likely to make mistakes. In some extreme cases, the natives under the strong influence of a malefic exalted Jupiter in ninth house may have to face a very bad reputation and public disgrace by means of their involvement in a scandal being exposed, and such natives may have to lose their reputation, power, and success forever. This placement can also cause some health-related problems for the native. Exalted Jupiter in 10th house of horoscope. A positive exalted Jupiter placed in 10th house of a horoscope can bless the native with very good professional success, and such a native is likely to earn good to great amount of money and wealth by virtue of his own efforts and skills. Some natives under a particular influence of this placement can go to foreign lands and achieve success, money, and wealth in these lands, whereas some other natives under this kind of influence can benefit from professions which are associated with foreign countries or which are associated with travels. A benefic exalted Jupiter in 10th house of a horoscope can bless the native with success in professional fields like legal fields, medical fields, consultancies, and some other similar kinds of fields which require great mental and speech abilities in order to succeed. On the other hand, a malefic exalted Jupiter in 10th house of a horoscope can cause serious concerns for the natives under its influence, and some of these natives may have to suffer loss of wealth, property, and reputation by means of court cases and litigations which they may have to face from time to time in their lives, and in some extreme cases the natives under the strong influence of this placement may have to face very big losses, or they may have to spend some time in jail due to a court decision going against them. A negative exalted Jupiter in 10th house of a horoscope can also cause serious concerns related to the peace of mind of the native, and as a result, the natives under the strong influence of this placement may have to face medical problems like anxiety, restlessness, insomnia, or difficulty in sleeping, or some other medical problems related to nervous system. Such a placement in a horoscope can also trouble the native on account of financial debts, which the native may not be able to pay for a very long time in his life. Exalted Jupiter in 11th house of horoscope. A positive exalted Jupiter placed in 11th house of a horoscope can give very good results related to the financial aspect of the native, and the natives under the strong influence of such a placement are likely to witness good to great financial gains by virtue of their good luck, very good professional skills, and good convincing ability. Such placement of benefic exalted Jupiter in 11th house can also bless the native with a very good married life, and the wife of such a native is likely to belong to a family much richer than the family of the native, and she is also likely to bring financial success and fortune to the native. The natives under the strong influence of this placement are seen achieving a lot more after their marriages, and many natives under the strong influence of this placement are likely to get very supportive wives who also possess a good understanding of business and who keep on giving good advice to the native. A benefic exalted Jupiter in 11th house can bless the native with a very good public reputation, and as a result, the native may witness great success by means of this good public reputation. On the other hand, a malefic exalted Jupiter in 11th house of a horoscope can trouble the native by virtue of ill health of His mother and such a native may have to spend a big amount of money, resources, and time towards the treatment of his ill mother from time to time. Such a malefic placement can also trouble the native with unwanted and unexpected problems, and such a native may have to try again and again in order to achieve success in many spheres of his life. A malefic exalted Jupiter can also affect the married life of the native in a negative way, and some natives under a particular influence of this placement may get very unsupportive wives who have very harsh and doubtful nature and who keep on troubling the native with baseless and nonsense questions. This placement can also cause some health-related issues to the native under its influence. Exalted Jupiter in 12th house of horoscope. A positive exalted Jupiter placed in 12th house of a horoscope can bless the native with good education and very good creative abilities, and some natives under the strong influence of this placement can possess multiple talents. Some natives having this placement in their horoscope can go abroad for the purpose of higher education, and then they can settle there after completing their studies. A benefic exalted Jupiter in 12th house of a horoscope can bless the native with good to very good spiritual advancement, and some natives under the strong influence of this placement can witness great spiritual achievements, and some of them may possess supernatural powers. On the other hand, a malefic exalted Jupiter in 12th house of a horoscope can make the native suffer due to many problems in his married life and problems in his professional life, and some natives under a particular negative influence of this placement may have to remain jobless or without a profession many times in their lives despite possessing very good professional qualifications and skills. Such a malefic placement can also trouble the native on account of his children, as such a native may not be able to produce healthy and lucky children, and the children of such a native may become a cause of concern for the native by virtue of failures in their married life, professional life, bad company, or health problems. The natives under the strong influence of this placement have a strong tendency to resign from their family life and take up the life of an ascetic and practice their spiritual interests, and some natives under such influence are seen forsaking their families forever and devote their life to spiritualism, particularly in the later parts of their lives. An exalted Jupiter in 12th house of a horoscope can also make the native wander here and there for no solid reason, and such a native may have to spend much money and much time of his life traveling from one place to another without any constructive and solid results. Hence, the placement of an exalted Jupiter in almost all the houses of a horoscope can bless the native with benefic things, and it can also trouble the native with malefic things depending upon the nature of such exalted Jupiter and depending upon the overall horoscope of the native. Therefore, no conclusion should be made about the benefic nature of Jupiter merely by virtue of its exaltation, and no conclusion should also be made about the negative nature of Jupiter merely by virtue of its placement in some particular houses of a horoscope. A thorough study of Jupiter, as well as the entire horoscope, is necessary in order to calculate the final outcomes of the placement of an exalted Jupiter in some particular house of a horoscope. Jupiter. The wise Jupiter, by its spiritual nature, is said to represent ether. The two signs ruled by Jupiter, Sagittarius and Pisces, are both dual in nature. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, which is cardinal sign with water element. The degree of exaltation is 5 degrees. Jupiter is considered as the most beneficial planet for mankind and will function best in Cancer. Because of the water element, Jupiter is the planet of wisdom or knowledge, unlike Mercury, which is the planet of information and exchange. Exalted Jupiter gives a person humility because of true wisdom. Exalted Jupiter makes him true guru who dispenses knowledge and wisdom for benefit of all. It is the planet of luck, divine grace, which can fulfill all our needs without our seeking. When Jupiter is with us, the universe is with us. In its exaltation in Cancer, he is the cosmic and divine beneficence. Jupiter gets debilitated in Capricorn, which is cardinal sign with earth element. The earth element of Capricorn, with its cardinal nature, can make us too materialistic, too pragmatic. We can become too manipulative to achieve our goal. It will give us pride and arrogance and can make us too self-centered. We can become over-optimistic and overextend ourselves in every sphere of our life.